welcome back, Shalligators. Well, welcome back to our series on the reality of being a YouTuber and an influencer. And I know, in the last video, I was like, we're going to do 2 parts, but I think we're actually going to do 3. Because the first one tackled the business aspect of this. I mean, the logistics about how you get started, how to make money, how algorithms work. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do one on the downsides of being an influencer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But I also then realized I want to do one on the upsides because this is an amazing job. It's an amazing wild frontier that we're, people like me are sort of forging. And there's something really cool about that. And there's a lot of really cool things about this job. So today we're going to talk about the bad stuff. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about the cool stuff. Because I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, because it's not. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to go check out my new merch on my website. Head to shallonlester.com to shop some new hoodies. We have an ugly Christmas sweater. We have some Reduce, Recycle, Revenge. We got a new hoodie that talks about drugs. Wait, what? Also at shallonlester.com, you can donate to the GoFundMe we've set up for the Gethsemane Garden Baptist Church so we can give some kiddos and needy seniors a really nice Christmas that they need and deserve. You can also submit a question to me if you need some private one-on-one help with anything. I am here for you. So let's talk about this job. So on Instagram, if you're not following me, head over there and click follow for ShallonXO. I let you guys, submit some questions. I ask you, hey, what have you always wanted to know about being an influencer? And overwhelmingly, the number one question was about money. How do you make it? What does it mean? So we tackled that in the first video. Go check that out. But the second question was, how do you deal with the negative aspects? Because at this point in this career, the backlash has begun. It's not like, wow, I've never thought to comment something mean on someone's page. We are truly public enemy number one. More so even than actors and stuff. There's still a mystique around Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, that people don't feel compelled to shit all over them the way they do people like us. People have very little respect for YouTubers and influencers sometimes. They think, and I don't think it's a lack of respect. I think truly it's jealousy. They don't understand how hard this job is. And they think that we're all just making easy money. And we're all so stupid. If we're where we're at, if you've heard of us, we're not that dumb. We might not be good for a long time, but, a lot of people don't have a ton of longevity because they're short-sighted. Anyway, we talked about that in the previous video too. But, also we're so engageable. It's we're so close to our audience and we're so highly engaged in a way that Tom Cruise isn't writing back to everyone who comments on his Instagram. A lot of YouTubers do. I'm super engaged with you guys. And that gives people the impression that they can do and say whatever they want. And Mike Tyson has a quote that I always go back to and always love. People have gotten real used to saying whatever they want to and not getting punched in the face. And it's true. It's true on social media. So yeah, the number one question I get is, how do I deal with haters? I'm going to do a whole video on cancel culture because it's so stupid. And I'm going to do another video on handling criticism, not on the internet, just in real life and handling feedback in an appropriate and healthy way. So we're going to touch on those then. Haters. I said this in a recent video. What was the video about? Nostalgia, right? I don't know how I wove it in, but I did. Oh, because we were talking about doing emotional work. So many people who hate me are my ex-fans. There's, that's weirdly a whole subsect of people who hate me. And I think they hate me because they start out they start out my fan and they start out wanting to be like me. And then at some point they realize they either lack the intelligence or the work ethic to get to where I'm at. And so they decide to turn on me. It's my fucking fault that they, that their life is in a spiral, that they got fired from their job for having drug paraphernalia lying around, whatever it might be. It actually, I got news for you, isn't. I don't even know you. So, okay. People on the internet are absolutely insane. And I've said before that we are living in an age of opinionization where everyone feels not only they have the right to give their opinion, that they have the obligation to share their opinion. The best tweet I've ever read, besides having a boyfriend is having a dumb son, truly it lives in infamy, was this guy who tweeted, "You know that it's possible to see something you disagree with on the internet and simply move on with your life." What? And I always go back to my Olive Garden example. I hate Olive Garden. I think it's the most disgusting place on planet Earth. And yet, it has never occurred to me when I'm driving by it to swerve into the parking lot, go in there, kick the door, and be like, fuck you guys, fuck you, go fucking kill yourself. Your mom should have had an abortion. These are things people have said to me. I simply move on with my life. Haters don't, because they have no life to move on to, right? And when you think of like people who do go into a restaurant and do something like that, they're like out of their mind. They're drunk or on meth or whatever. So it's like, well, things aren't going great for you. Same with people on the internet. Like, if you have haters, first of all, you're doing something right. Truly. Like, even Miley Cyrus, she said this like in an interview today. She's like, I think it's fine when other celebrities talk shit on me because that means they're paying attention. And on some level, they care. And it's true. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Nobody wants to hear something bad. And people now on the internet, they're not just saying, I didn't like this video. It's go kill yourself. Your mom should have had an abortion. I hope you die in a fire. Never have children. You're disgusting. You're a this. You're a predator. You're a monster. You're a sociopath. Has it ever occurred to you to write that on someone's page who you don't know? It's never occurred to me to say that to my real life enemies. It's so insane and beyond. And I'm not going to pretend that it's like, I don't care. Of course we care. We're human beings. And it's not that I care because you think any of these things are true. You care because it's just like, wow, this is what humanity's capable of. It's like I care on like this macro level that I'm so disgusted that this is how people are living. And I'm disgusted that people get to say things like this. But one of you guys asked me on Instagram, you're like, what do you think about deleting negative comments if you don't want to see them? Do you think that that's petty? Should you not be doing that? Fuck yes, you should be doing that. This is your house. This is my house. You are a guest here. You are. And let me remind everyone, nobody pays to be here. This is all free for you, okay? So when people come to my house and consume my product for free, and then they have the audacity to talk trash to me, you are not invited back, and I will remove you by force. And I don't care if people think that's petty. Why should I allow people to say whatever they want, and then these same people who come here and talk shit think that I'm the petty one for deleting them? Oh, she's moderating her. She deletes her comments. I don't have time to do this. I don't go through my comments, but I have words that filter comments out automatically. You think I'm going to let you leave a comment with the word cunt in it? You're wrong. You're wrong. Sorry. Why do you think you have the right? And it's crazy. It's like people who are mad that criminals are getting arrested. Like, you're the criminal here, and you're mad that someone's calling you on your bullshit and saying that this is unacceptable. So if you're getting into this space, you have the right to adjudicate the interaction however you see fit. And maybe that's clapping back at people, which is honestly, it erodes you. It stresses you out more. It doesn't cultivate peace, but it does set examples. And I've used this analogy all the time. I am a Roman woman. My family dates back to ancient Rome. And what did the Romans do? They crucified people. They crucified them along the Appian Way, the only road in and out of Rome. Why? To send a message. So every so often, I will crucify someone on this channel. I will crucify someone in the comment section as a warning for anyone else who wants to come here and talk shit. And the bad part is, so much of the time, that's all haters want, is attention. Like, oh my God, someone paid attention to me. Someone cares if I exist. Baby, I don't. And you know why you need so much attention? Why? Because your parents didn't love you? Oh, because your husband left you? Because you don't have any friends? Can you see why you don't have any friends though? Maybe it's because you act like this? No one is insane and toxic on the internet and normal in real life. They're just not, right? It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So dealing with haters is incredibly difficult. And I was saying this to an ex-boyfriend one time. It's recent. And he's just like someone who was just like spiraling and just complaining about his life. And I was like, you don't even know what pain is. You don't even know what stress is. To you, stress is being at work an hour later than you want it to be. To me, stress is someone putting my fucking address on the internet. Okay? It's meetings with the FBI. You have competitors. You have maybe even rivals in your field. I have enemies. And those are very different things. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Well, that's not true. I actually would wish that stress on quite a few people, namely my enemies. And it's weird because it's like, you don't even know me. Like, where did this come from? Like, at least if you're going to be my enemy, like, I'll have fucked your boyfriend or something like that. I'll have taken your job. I'll have, like, kicked your mom in the crotch or whatever it is. Like, maybe we could, like, earn this enemy status, but... So as a result, I've gotten a lot smarter about security. And I said in the last video that like sometimes I will reach out to brands that I have used and strike up partnerships because like I want to get the word out and like, hey, I think this could be good for the audience. So an app that I have been using since this whole thing happened is called Hushed. I was previously using like Google Voice. You know how you can like have a separate number? Google Voice is basically just forwarding. It's not truly your own private dedicated number. And Google Voice is a little bit more vulnerable and it's attached to your Google account, which is like usually attached to like the entire rest of your life. Hushed is truly its own unique phone number. It works in 60 countries. You can pick whatever number you want. You can also have a dedicated voicemail, which is really cool. Like if you want to make this number just for your friends, it's like, hey, what's up, bitches? You've reached Shallon, you dirty sluts, leave a message. Like that's kind of fun. And you can change it whenever you want. And this is really, I think, something we all need, especially when we're Tinder dating. We don't need to be giving people our real phone number. We don't know what that phone number is attached to. Is it attached to your college, your address? Like we need safer spaces. We need to be a little smarter about this. Even just like shopping online, I feel like everyone now asks for your phone number. I went to Petco to buy a dog squeaky and they're like, what's your phone number? I was like, you ain't need my phone number. And they were mad. They're like, it's just your phone number. It's like, what? Our information is being eroded. So I've been using that app for a really long time. I love it. It's so easy. And so I reached out to them. So like, we would love to offer your Shalligators some stuff. So if you go to hushed.com/Shallon and enter code Shallon25 at checkout, you get a number for life for just $25. Like that's an 83% saving. Is awesome. It's like one and done. You, like I said, you can change the number whenever you need to. You can change your voicemail box. It works in 60 countries. You get like 1,000 talk minutes, 6,000 texts, and it automatically rolls over every year. And you can, use that. And it does everything that your phone does. Like you can send messages, gifts, and all this stuff, and photos. And so it's great. I really like it. And it makes me just feel so much more secure because I don't know if you guys have ever had to change your phone number, like your actual one. It could not be more of a pain in the ass. Your phone, then you get like locked out of Instagram because it's two-factor authentic. Just a nightmare. So check it out. Click the link in the bio to check that out. So if you want it, I think you guys might like it. So with haters and with people acting insane on the internet comes very real security threats. One of you guys asked me like, how do you deal with stalkers? And I have had a stalker. Now, if you haven't, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, girl, that means you made it. You're big enough to have a stalker. I thought that too until I had one. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not a compliment. It's terrifying. And it's more than me being scared. I was so angry. I was infuriated that this fucking girl, yeah, I was a girl, like wouldn't fight me out in the open. She was such a coward. She was like jabbing here and there and like doing dry runs to my apartment from DC to come and kill me. So she said. And I was like, fight me out in the open like a fucking man. High noon, town square, draw first or die, you stupid bitch. Like, is that too much to ask? To just fight me like a man? But yes, for stalkers, you don't get to choose how your enemy approaches you, And I became very, very into security. And people, like when I post pictures of my guns out here, like, you have guns? Yes, I do. You don't live the life that I live. You don't have the threats against you that I have. So do not share your opinion about how I choose to protect myself unless you're going to hire an ex-Mossad agent who's going to stand outside my door in my ranch. Are you? That's interesting. Okay. So I've also been doxxed. I've had not the address I was living at, my old address put on Twitter and my phone number also. So those things had to change. And it was trial by fire. I got a lot smarter about security. I'm very smart about my financial security, about my business security. I own a lot of houses. You are never going to know where they are, right? And it's not the ones you think you're finding on Google. It's not those. So I really had to toughen up and get smarter. And again, it was so isolating. It was so isolating. And people, they're like, no one's going to come and do anything. Well, the FBI was like, no, 60,000 people who retweeted your address might not. It only takes one. It only takes one. There have been plenty of people, YouTubers, celebrities killed by deranged fans and stalkers. Lots. Look at Selena. I had essentially the president of my fan club, Swati, blackmail me. And Swati, who was it that knocked on your door after that? You don't know who I know. And if I can get to you in India, I can get to anyone. Remember that. If you come at the king, you best not miss. Oh, and that money that I loaned you to keep your business afloat, she made this whole sob story that, it was quarantined, she was a lawyer and she couldn't keep her business running. Could she borrow $1,400? Like an idiot, I gave it to her because I considered her my friend. And I couldn't bear the thought that my friend was suffering like that. Well, I called up PayPal after she threatened to post our text messages on the internet. There was nothing even in them. That doesn't matter though. There's nothing shameful or scandalous about my body. I don't want it naked on the internet. It belongs to me. Do you want to think that someone's listening to your conversations with your mom? You're not planning a jewel heist, but that's just private. And she was doing it as a bluff because I had pulled out of a business, a business idea with her for legal reasons that we had to. It just wasn't a viable business option. And she was mad. She's got borderline personality disorder and they turn on you like this. They do. Sorry. So I called PayPal. I was like, hey, so this girl, I gave her money. So I said, I gave her money. And now she's threatening to blackmail me and using PayPal as the intermediary, saying if I don't PayPal her $10,000. They're like, really? We're going to look into this. So they went to her and Swati was so dumb. She said, oh, that wasn't a loan. That was for work I performed. So stupid, you stupid bitch. You know what happens when you say that? They ask you to prove it. Where was the work order? Where was the email saying, I will pay you X to do Y? Where was proof that this work was performed? She couldn't produce any of that, and PayPal gave me my money back. I hope that hurt you, Swati. I hope it did. Because $1,400 in India is, from what you alligators who live in India say, you said that's a lot of money. And you know what? I bet it was. Maybe you'll think twice before crossing someone who is literally your friend. So again, these are situations most people don't have to deal with. They don't have to deal with. And so because I don't encounter people who have these same stressors that I do, this job can be very lonely. It can be very, very lonely. It can be very isolating. You notice our patron saint, Justin Bieber, on his last fuckable day, is back. It's because I've been listening to the song Lonely, over and over and over again. And it really resonates. It's people think they know you, you have a million friends, but actually, very few people can truly understand what you're going through and your experience. And I have my creator friends, other influencers and stuff, and they get it. They get this life, but they don't know me in real life the way my IRL friends do, but they don't get my job, And it's hard. It's hard for people to understand. And I stayed in relationships. I stayed in a relationship with Max for a really long time because he is a brand strategist and he gets it. He gets this life and he gets my job. And when I have problems about something, he was able to do more than just listen. He was able to offer solutions and that. And it's my friends didn't get that. They're like, well, just hire someone to do that. And I'm you can't hire someone to truly care about your job and how you're doing. You can hire them to perform duties, but that I care. I'm staying up late to help you. I'm invested in this. That's something money can't buy. And it creates different dynamics. And you guys also asked me questions on here. Am I afraid of getting used by people? And do people recognize me? And does that factor into things? It's not so much that people recognize me immediately. I mean, I get recognized maybe once or twice a week. And if you ever recognize me and see me out, please say hi. I'm super nice. But, somebody asked online dating, do guys recognize you? Guys don't, because guys don't really watch my channel. They're not my audience. But when I tell them what I do and then they Google me, the terror sets in. My celebrity status ruined a relationship that I had recently. And it was someone I cared a lot about. And he Googled me into oblivion. He read everything about me. And he was terrible. He couldn't separate like the myth from the person. You know what I mean? Like, he already had kind of low self-esteem. And I think he assumed that I was going to be like super high maintenance and a brat. And more than anything, I think he thought I was going to look down on him. And none of that was true. I looked up to him and I told him that, like, you have this going on, this and this, and like, Hurt Locker, you know, like I looked up to him and I still do in a lot of ways. But I was just like, stop basing your assessment of me off of Google or off of my traffic or off of my blue check mark on Instagram or how many fans I have. Like, I'm just like a person. Like, I like to do the same things you do, like drink White Claws on the lawn and like play with the dogs and go shooting. Like, so it's like your persona can get in the way of things. And that's tough because given what I do, it's not like I'm Margot Robbie or something where I'm so famous, I only date other famous people. You know, it's like I have kind of the downsides of being a celebrity, but not the like Rolex gifting suite and the private jets and like getting set up with a Hemsworth. Like, that doesn't happen. So that's tough. It's really tough to reconcile. So yeah, there's some downsides to this job. I mean, the haters are one thing, the enemies are another. But we're frontiersmen out here, and the problems we encounter, no, they're not what most people do, but the rewards we encounter also aren't what most people get to ever experience. And so for that, it really is worth it. And so many of you guys ask me, you know, via the Instagram stories, you're like, would you do it again? Is this job worth it? It absolutely is. Because what I talk about on here is so authentic to me. I'm not trend chasing. I'm not like doing some TikTok dance or whatever, like just trying to like get noticed and blow up and go viral. It's so who I am that I feel so self-actualized. And I feel like this is what I was put on this earth to do. I really was born for this. But that doesn't mean it's easy. But then again, you know, what in life that's worth doing is easy? From learning to drive, to going away to college, to building a house, to writing a book, nothing's easy. But it is worth it to me, you know. But if you're thinking you're going to get into this job and everyone's just going to love you, and there's definitely creators out there, and you can tell, like, they didn't get enough hugs as a child, right? And so they're just like Trisha and God, I can't imagine being young and dealing with haters. I can't imagine not having a core of self-esteem and dealing with people like that. I can't imagine being a cold-blooded animal and doing it. This career happened at exactly the right time. And everything that does happen to me really does make me stronger and smarter. It doesn't mean it always feels good, but growth is painful, you know? And I have ascended into a much more clever, resilient, ruthless, but also more loving person after the trials and the tribulations, because I hold on to the people who really are authentic. Like, I never take a friendship for granted. I never take a fan for granted. I never take a sweet comment for granted. You know, I read them and they really fill me up to see the wonderful side of all of us and our humanity and just our sisterhood. And to have this Shallontourage where we can share our hopes and dreams. And if you guys aren't on the Reddit thread, go to the Shalligator Reddit thread. There's like 2,000 members, and you guys ask each other questions and share book recommendations and downloads and new announcements and babies and college degrees and stuff like that. It's so wonderful to see. It's like, wow, this is beyond me now. Like, this is bigger than me. This is something we're all creating together and ascending together. And, you know, that's unstoppable. So let these fucking losers and these dorks leave whatever comments they want. At the end of the day, they have to be them. We get to be us. Come back tomorrow because I'm going to keep talking about the wonderful aspects of this job. I'll see you later, Shalligators.